Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, I see.
Okay. So now everybody has this decisions if robot path. Please check in your the yesterday's zip folder that I shared with you. Do you have this PDF file? Decisions if robot path. Okay. So we'll just open it and we'll go through it. Okay, so what we have to do here is okay, now what exactly is a robot path? So robot path is like yesterday when I was telling you about how do we extract the currency and write it down in the notepad, a step-by-step distribution of the complete process is known as the robot path. When it comes down to robot path, we have all the decisions also, and from those decisions we see what do we have to do. Okay, what folder? Let me tell you. Wait. Okay, I don't. Okay, if you do not have that, just give me a second, and I'm sharing it with you. Okay, Citizen Developer 22, please check in your uh, on your desktop. Then 21, then 20, then 23, 24, 25, and 27. Okay. Now, did all of you get it? Okay. Now, let's open it and go through it. Okay. So robot path basically it shows us a step-by-step indication of what path does a robot have to follow. So when I talk about the robot path, basically when we design a workflow, when we make a sequence of the tasks that we need to do. So we follow these tasks. So those tasks that are in the studio are to perform. And from where do we see what is to be done is from the robot path. So basically, uh, if I do not have a problem statement, if I do not have a question, if I do not have a exercise, which I name as exercise, I would show you this robot path, and in this robot path you can see the complete process, and then we'll work on it. So now the if exercise that we are going to do, is based on this robot path. Okay, so now what it says is, okay, just a second, all of you. Okay, you have this UiPath working documents, right? Just open this folder. Okay, here you have two things. One is an Excel file named decisions. Open that. And another one is the WUI application. Double click on that and confirm if you are able to open it. So everybody has the same application opened on their screen. Okay, let's move forward. So our first step is start. Once we start, we need to open decisions.xlsx. So we have opened it. Then what do we see is, okay. Then next step is we check if the cell E2 is empty. Okay, so guys, any where you see this symbol where it is written is cell E2 empty. Wherever you see this symbol, that means it is a decision. That means here we have to use if statement to determine whether it is a yes or it is a no. Okay, so in robot parts, whatever is given in proper rectangles are the steps, and whatever is given in this type of figure is the decision. And we give it in this way because these have multiple outputs. So we can have one for yes, we can have one for no. Okay, so now we check, is the cell E2 empty? Okay, okay. Are you still able to see my screen? Okay, right. So now here what we have is we check if the cell E2 is empty. Okay, and we have that Excel file over here. So we see the cell E2 is empty. Yes, here it is empty. So what do we do when it is empty? We open WUI app. The WUI app is what we have opened here, which is this application. And now once we have this opened, we type into WI cache in input field. Okay, which is the cache in input field? This is the cache in input field. Now what do we have to type here? We have to type here the cell value of B2. Let's see what is the value of B2. So we have it here. We have cache $133. So we need to put that here, and then copy transaction number from WI into decision cell E2, and then click on the accept button. Okay. Once we copy here for suppose 133, then we have to copy this transaction number, which is 699,052. Once we copy this, we click on accept. Okay. Do you guys get it? What is our process? Click on accept button. And if the cell E2 is not empty, then what we have to write is we have to write transaction has been processed in cell H2. So when I come here in cell H2, here in the H column H2, what we have to write is that the transaction has already been processed. Transaction has been processed. Okay. So now, do you guys get what the exercise is about? Does anybody have any questions to what we have to do? Okay, guys, if the exercise is clear to you, write a yes in the conversation. Okay. So, okay, guys, let's have you start working on this. I told you how to use the if condition. If we talk about if, I told you how we drag and drop it down. How do we create the condition? We go on the plus icon, we select the input, we go to the condition builder. Here we select the value of whatever input we have. Here we select the condition that we have to check, and that's it. Okay. So now I want everybody to start trying doing it. Uh, I would like if you would do it by yourself, if you would at least try to do it by yourself, and then we will discuss it after maybe 5 minutes. So let me put the stopwatch too. And for 5 minutes, yes, everybody please try on to what we have discussed, and then we'll take up any doubts or anywhere wherever you are stuck. Is everybody okay with it? Okay, so you have 5 minutes. Create a new project. Maybe write it down as task 4 or if task, and then I'll ask you about your doubts after 5 minutes. And if you have anything in between, feel free to ask me. Okay, fine. Let me give you 10 minutes. Sure. Okay. So I am starting the timer now. Yeah. So you start doing it. Uh, yes, you have to write it back to the Excel file. So, in terms of when the cell E2 is empty, you should write the transaction number in cell H2 in the comment section. And when the cell E2 is not empty, you have to write transaction has been processed in cell H2. Am I clear? Jira, am I clear? We need to write the transaction number in cell H2, or we have to write the transaction has been processed comment in H2. Okay. You can ask me anytime in between when you want to. Okay, whenever you are stuck. Guys, if your VM is very slow, okay. Guys, if your VM is very slow, can you just try and refresh it by clicking here on the adjust resolution button? the when you see on the top the second button from the left, this adjust resolution button, just click on it. It is going to refresh your VM, and then check if still your VM is very slow. Yes, Jira. For now, we only have to perform for the first row. Okay, so Tavine, you have done. Okay, what machine are you using? 22. Let me open it. Your application here you have done a right cell, right cash in, single, get transaction number right, click accept right. Okay, okay, right. Tavini, just add here another right cell activity to write down the transaction number in the cell H2. Okay, so whenever the cell is not empty and whenever we find the transaction number, we write it down in the cell H2.
It's on the right hand side, on the else.
No, no, on the then part, because only then we execute the UI application part, right? We get the transaction. Okay, you saved it already. Okay, I'm sorry, I did not check it. Yeah, it is right. Okay, in get transaction number, you saved it to cell E2. Okay, you saved it here in transaction number and okay, right. Okay. Okay. So anybody else who has done it? Uh, okay, Jira has not. Wronged, where are you? Still doing? Okay. Do you want any help or do you want more time? Do you need any help or are you able to do it? Okay. 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 Panumas, what about you?
Okay, I'm
Done.
done.
Okay. What is your machine number?
24.
24. Let me open and check. Okay, use Excel file, right? Use application, right? Here you have written transaction has been processed. Click accept, get text, right? Okay. Just one thing here, when you do the get text, you saved it to a variable, right? And in the next activity, you write it down in the Excel. But what you can do is, from the get text itself, you can write it there. So you go to the plus icon, you go to Excel, you indicate on Excel, and you select this cell
Can
and you
we use
confirm.
to directly?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you can remove this right cell and check it now once again.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome. So now let's come to Ashira. Have you done it? Ashira, which machine are you using? 27. Okay, let me open. Click accept. Okay. Okay, Ashira, you have some more time. Complete it and then let me know once you are done with it. Okay? Okay. Then comes Jetnipat. Where are you? Okay. Machine 20. Read cell value. Okay. Tavini, can you go on mute? There is a disturbance from your side. Okay, so Jetnipat, here whatever you have done is absolutely correct, but the point here is you do not need to read the values independently and then use them somewhere else. So whenever
Okay.
we have such inputs, like for this type into, what you can do is you can click on the plus button, you go to Excel.
Okay. This is the fast way to do that. Do not
Yes,
store
yes,
the value into the that like the thing before. You can use it action indirect to the value uh,
yes.
you
You
like in the
can use
Excel.
it
Okay.
directly. You do not need to involve another variable or anything. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So
I
if you
get that.
want, you can make these changes and okay, good.
Okay.
You were also able to do it. Then, then let's come to who else? Who else is left? Uh, okay. Jira, have you done?
Uh, Not yet.
Okay.
Almost. I
O- Okay.
I
Okay.
create L condition.
Okay. Okay. You do it. No issues. Permsack, were you able to do it? Okay, you are on the get text step. Do you want any help? Do you want any help from me, or are you able to do it?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I tried myself before.
Sorry?
I tried to do it myself before.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Please do. Uh, okay. Thanabaram, were you able to do it? Okay. Which machine are you using? 26 axis.
เปิดอะไรเยอะแยะวะเนี่ย
Okay, you used it. Excel E2 is empty. Then you come here. Okay. Okay. Thanabrom, the first step is to type into cache in, and then the next step is to get text. Okay. Then you click on accept. Okay. Then what do you do here? Uh, okay. Okay. So see, Thanabaram, what you are doing is you are using use Excel twice. We do not use it twice. We already have referred it once, right? So you do not need this use Excel over here.
ไม่
What
ทำ
you
ไม
are
ผม
going to what you are going to do is you
ถ้า
are
มันค่าว่างก็เปิดใช่ไหม
Permsak, are you saying something on the
ก็
call here? Okay. So when it comes down to here, you delete it and you click on show else. When you go to Excel, there is an activity called write cell. You drag it here and here you indicate what value you have to write and which cell do you have to write. Do you get it?
Okay.
Yeah. Please complete it and then I'll check it in a few minutes. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so Jira is done. Okay, Jira, what machine? Jira, your machine number 25. Transaction has been processed and this. Okay, good. Let me check your code. Use Excel file. Okay. Cell E2 is empty. Okay. Type into cache in. Click accept and okay. Okay. See, Jira, what happens is here the transaction number is something. Now, if you enter a number, click accept, then the transaction number changes. So you have to get the transaction number before clicking on accept. Okay. Okay, great. You write it down there and here you have written transaction has been processed. Okay, nice, good. Okay, then I come down to Ashira, have you completed? Okay, your machine is 27, right? Let me open. Okay, right cell E2, here you type into, click accept. Why are you typing into the transaction number, Ashira? You need to fetch the transaction number. So rather than type into over here, you need to use get text. Okay, now complete this and then check. Okay, indicate the element here and save it to Excel and then I'll check it. Do let me know once you are done here. Okay, then PermSac, were you able to complete?
Not now. I
Okay,
still
okay,
doing.
okay, no issues. I'll check you on the last. Okay, Ruang date, are you done? Okay, Panumas, are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, I already checked yours, right? Okay, okay. Ashira, did you make the change? Okay, here Ashira, we do not need to save it for later. Okay, you close it. Here, what you can do is you can directly write it down to the Excel. So you go to the plus icon, you go to Excel, you indicate in Excel, and you need to write the transaction number here. So you select this cell and click on confirm. Okay, do you get my point? Now try and run it and see if your output is coming right. Check the Excel file. Is the transaction number correct? It shows 637168. Okay, open the UI app. This double UI app. Okay, here we have 69. Absolutely right, because after clicking on accept, the counter increases. Okay, Ashira is also done now. Ashira, do you have any doubts on this question, on this exercise? Ashira, do you have any questions regarding this exercise? Okay. Okay, so wrong date. Okay, which machine? Tell me your machine number. 21. Let's open and check. Okay, decision in Excel, right? Why do you have type in get text, click accept. Okay, wrong date. Again, the same thing. When we get text here, we do not need a variable to save to this time. What we can do is go to the plus icon, go to Excel, indicate in Excel, and select the cell and click confirm. Okay, so here you can remove this right cell. Okay, okay, then if I check your else, okay, why did you do this? If our E2 is empty, then we do not have to do anything. We just have to update in the Excel file saying that the transaction has been processed. Okay, so here you do not need this use application. You all that you need is show else. Here you will drag a right cell. Okay. Where to write, you will give Excel, you will indicate in Excel, you will give the H2 column, you confirm, and what to write, you add text, you write transaction has been, okay, you get it now? Okay, now let's remove this right cell. Yeah, okay, and then we run it and test whether it is giving us right output or not. Okay, let me check the transaction name. Yes, it is absolutely correct. Okay, do you get it now? You are clear now, right? You get this. Okay, okay, okay. Welcome. Just one left. Okay, Permsec, are you done now? Can I open your machine? Your machine number, please.
23.
23. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. What you have done is use Excel. Okay. Check if E2 is empty. You
Mm-hmm.
come here, you type in cache in, okay, you get text, you write it directly and then click accept. Okay, where is your else part? We have to write in column H2 about the transaction has been processed if this is empty, if this is not empty. So where is that right cell?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, do it right now. Drag the right cell activity and perform it. For see,
Okay.
we have it. Transaction has been
Okay.
processed
1
in
minute. 1
cell
minute.
H.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah.
1 minute. Ps- ps- ps-
This time you have to write a text in the Excel, right? So you drag the activity right cell. You do not need a type into. In Excel, we write cell. Yes,
Right cell.
right,
Hmm?
right. Absolutely. Then what do you have to write? You have to write down a text. What to write is a text, right? So you select text, you type transaction has been processed.
Okay.
Okay. Save. Then where to write? Okay. Now run it and check. Okay. Yeah, it
Okay.
shows transaction has been processed because you already had a transaction number in the cell E2, right?
ฮะ ครับ
Okay, so
Okay.
anybody, any doubts? I suppose everybody is done now with the exercise. Any questions from anybody? Okay, so now we'll move on to the next topic. Okay, okay, so everybody clear with the decisions? Everybody clear with word automation, web app recorder, activities, no doubts from anything that we have already covered, right? Only then we'll be moving forward. If you have any doubts, any questions, we can address them right now. Okay, so everybody is understanding everything, right? So let's move forward to iterations. Okay, so now what is iterations? For example, okay, uh, when we have to perform same steps for a number of items, for a list of items, then we use iterations. Now we can have iterations in few formats. Like we have iterations already designed in UiPath for few specific formats. One is for each row in data table. So whenever we have a table filled of data, we can iterate through each row of that data table. Okay, and whenever we have a folder which has multiple files in it, we can iterate through each file. Okay, then whenever we have emails, whenever we are into Outlook, we can iterate through all the emails that we have. Similarly, when we are working with an Excel sheet, we can iterate through all the rows in that Excel sheet. Sorry, whenever we have multiple Excel sheets, we can iterate through all the sheets that that particular Excel has. And when we talk about Excel rows, like in the example we did right now, if you see this, we actually have a lot of rows. But since we did not know iteration, we just did it for one row. Okay. Now, how do we iterate and what are the things that we can do when we iterate? So now let's do one thing. Uh, we would have another exercise also for iterations, but since we have time and we have that question too, let's practice iterations on the code that we have already done. Okay, let me explain you iterations through this piece of code. Okay, let me open. Okay, I do not have this. Okay, so now what do we do is first of all, we drag the use Excel file. In the use Excel file, what do I have? I have documents. I have. Okay, let me open it. Okay, so now we are using this Excel file. This is the same code that you did right now, where we type into the cash in, we get the transaction number, and we paste it in the Excel file. Now, what we do here is we already have the use Excel file. We look for each. Okay, so we get for each Excel for each row. Now, even if we want to iterate in this Excel file, we want to iterate in the number of rows, we want to iterate through all the rows that we have. So I drag the activity Excel for each row. Okay, when I do this, I have a for each current row in range. Okay, now I have to tell them a range. So I go here. Okay, let me see what is my sheet number. My sheet number is 2019 11 15. And here, when I see in range, when I go to plus icon, I go here because my file name is decisions, and I have to iterate through this sheet in this table. So I select this table over here. Now, how do I know that my table name is correct? I come here, I come to design, and this is my table name, which is decisions. And I have the same name over here. Okay, then what I have to do is it has the table headers, right? So I check this box which is called has headers. Now, what I do is uh, I first of all I collapse this if activity and I drag it inside the for each row, because whatever I had in my if, I have to perform that every time for each and every item in that Excel file. So now this if should be inside the for each row container. Now, do you guys get it? Why did I place for each row inside the use Excel container, and why do I have if inside the for each container? Or do you want me to repeat it? Anybody who wants me to repeat it, please please let me know in the chat, in the conversation. Rohit, are you okay, or do you want me to repeat? Okay, Panumas, are you okay? Okay, okay, fine. So now, what do we do now? Now when we come here to if, okay, we again go back to the condition builder. Okay, when we go to the condition builder, here I go back to the plus signs, and this time you see here you have a new option named current row. Now, why do we have a current row? When we talk about for each has the ability, basically for each has this for each would what would for each do is it would iterate through every row. So you do not have a fixed number of row. You do not know when would for each be on row number 1, row number 4, row number 6. So so basically without giving it a number, we use the variable current row. So now, when we talk about current row, it gives us everything. It gives us all the columns that it has. When we talk about columns, we had the logic to check about E2, right? That means we have to check on transaction number. If the transaction number is blank, we need to go to the WI app and find out the transaction number. Whereas if the transaction number is not blank, we need to write it down in the comments. So our logic is based on the column transaction number. Then we come back here, we go back to the plus sign, we go to current row, and here we select transaction number. So now what will the bot check? The bot will check that if it is for suppose on 8th row, it will check whether the transaction number for this row is blank. Okay, and this is what we wanted. So this is how we iterate through in loops. We addressed it as empty. We addressed the loop. We addressed if the transaction number is empty. We clicked on save. When we click on save, now here, now we have to type into the cash in number, right? The cash in amount, and that cash in amount would change every time for every row. So again, we come here, we select current row, and we select here cash in, okay? Because cash in was the data that we have to put there. Then when we come here, we get transaction, and when we get transaction, we need to write it down in the current row's transaction number, right? And then when we come about else, what do? We go to again the plus icon, we select current row, and we select comment. Okay, these are the changes that we had to do to iterate. Now, any questions? Because once now I am done explaining you this, once I show you the output, everybody has to do this same task. So if you have any questions, please ask them right now. Okay. What I'll do here is I will write down some transaction numbers here. Just to test whether my both if and else are working. Okay, it should not be blank. I close it. I close my WI app. I run it and check what does it do. See, it is working for all the rows.
Sorry.
Yeah, tell me.
My builder if condition don't have current row.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, now tell me. What is your question? Yeah.
My if condition don't have current row.
It has current row. These are the changes that we need to make. Okay, I'll explain you again. How did I get this condition? We go to the plus icon. We again open the condition builder. Initially, what you had here was you go to the decisions, you indicate in Excel, and you indicated this cell, right? You just indicated E2. This was your condition initially, right? Now, when we work through each row, we need to select here current row. Okay, when we come here to current row, I need to check which column do I have to check for current row. So I open my Excel again. I check if I am working with this row. I have to check for column transaction number. Okay, because I had to check for E2. My E2 is the column for transaction number. I come here, I go to the plus icon, I go to current row and I check here transaction number and I click on save. Now, my this condition says it is going to check for current row whether the transaction number is empty or not empty. If it is empty, it is going to work in the WI app, and if it is not empty, then it is going to update the comments in the H column. Do you get it now?
Yes, now I get it. But my builder in condition if condition I don't have current row
Okay.
menu.
You
I don't have
yes.
current row
You
menu.
do not have current row because currently you have not put Excel for each row. Once, okay. Now what you have, wait, I'll show you when I collapse. When you collapse your if, okay, you should just have use Excel file. This Excel for each row, this is what I have dragged now. So what your initial flow is, something like this, right? You just have a use Excel file and you have a if, because initially we did not have to iterate in all the rows. We only had to check it for one row, for the second row. Now, when I have to iterate, what I do is I drag Excel for each row here to this plus icon. Then I move this if into my for each row. And that is when you will get the current row option.
Yes, now I do it follow you, but I
Okay.
still don't have. Let's look my
Okay. Tell
VM
me your VM number, your citizen number.
23.
23. Okay. 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 Yes. Now what you do is you
Yes, now I add for each Excel row.
okay. Then what you do is you minimize your if, you collapse your if, and you drag your if in the for each Excel row. Okay. When you drag it inside this thing and then you come here to plus, then you get the current row.
Okay.
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 Now
Okay.
let me tell you why does it work like this. It works like this because whatever you perform in if, you have to work it for the for all the rows. Okay. And how do we come in all the rows? We come in all the rows using this for each Excel row. So when we talk about containers and action, my Excel is container because I have to work in that Excel file. My loop, my for each loop is a container because I have to iterate into all those rows. Okay. So my this step, my this condition should be inside my for each Excel row.
Okay.
Okay. Now you
Okay.
make the changes in the bottom wherever I have told you, and then you let me know if you face any issues.
Okay.
Okay. So now everybody got what I'm explaining, or do you have any questions? Anybody, any doubts?
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. So now everybody, I want you to do this exact same task. I want you to iterate in all the rows here, and I want the transaction number for all of them. And maybe when you check, you enter here 2 3 numbers by yourself so that you can see whether your else is working or not working. and I give you 10 minutes for this thing, and then let me cross check with everybody after 10 minutes. Anybody, any doubts, please feel free to ask them as and when you want. Okay, I see some of you have done. Okay, uh, okay. Panumas, tell me your machine number.
24.
24, Access VM. Ruangdet, where are you? What are you doing? Okay. It shows in use. Okay. Okay, Panumas, I am restarting your machine because I am unable to access it. So you might get disconnected for a minute, but just save the code that you have done. And if you get disconnected, you have to connect again. Okay?
Please press.
Just yeah, just save the code.
Okay.
Okay? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Can you open your VM again? Ashira, were you able to do the task? Okay, now you are online. Let me access it now. Okay. Okay, so Ashira, where are you? Were you able to do the task? And Thanapuram, what about you? Have you completed the task?
Not complete.
So you are working on it?
Please check.
Okay. Okay, let me check yours. What do we have? You have a for each. You changed it to current row comment. You changed it to current row cash in and current row transaction number. Very good. Ashira, you are also not complete. Okay, so Ashira and Thanaborum are still working. Okay. Panumas, would you like to explain what you have done here?
I will be used first.
Even if you want to use your local language, that would be okay. As in, until unless others get it, I'll be okay.
โอเคก็นะครับเราใช้ทัสเมื่อกี้นะครับที่เป็น use Excel file นะครับเปิด Excel file ขึ้นมาก่อนนะครับเสร็จแล้วเนี่ยขั้นตอนต่อไปเรา ใช้ action for each Excel row นะครับมันจะขึ้น Excel row ขึ้นมาแล้วก็เลือก inline ตรงนี้นะครับเป็นชีตปัจจุบันนะครับมันจะขึ้น decision table ขึ้นมาคือก่อนหน้านี้เราจะมี if อยู่ข้างนอกใช่ไหมให้เราลากเข้ามาใส่ใน for each นะครับถ้าไม่เห็น current row แบบกล่องเป็นหลักเมื่อกี้ ใส่ขึ้นมาปุ๊บนะครับ if condition เราจะเหมือนเดิมนะครับที่เราจะต้องเปลี่ยนก็คือมาฝั่ง else ก่อนก็ได้ else นะครับมันก็จะเห็น current row นะครับตรงนี้เป็น comment นะฮะแล้วก็เลือก comment เข้าไปนะครับตรงนี้ในกรณีที่ transaction ตัว transaction เป็นค่าว่างหรือเปล่าถ้าเป็นค่าว่างมันจะลงมาที่ den แต่ถ้ามีการทำ transaction ไปแล้วมันจะมาทางด้านขวาที่เป็น else มันจะพิมพ์คำว่า transaction has been processed ลงไปนะครับนี้มาทางด้าน den พอ den เนี่ยเราจะเปิดโปรแกรมอันนี้ก็เป็นของเดิมนะครับก็เปลี่ยนตรงนี้เป็น current row เหมือนเดิมนะครับแล้วก็ในช่อง cash in ในช่อง cash in คือมันก็จะเอาค่าที่เป็นตัว cash in ไปพิมพ์ในโปรแกรมแต่ละแถวslowly โอเคนะครับต่อไปก็มาเปลี่ยนตรง current row นะครับ transaction เหมือนกันโอเคก็เลือกเป็น transaction นะครับแค่นี้นะครับก็ลองกด run ดูถ้าข้อมูลถูกต้องเราในคอลัมน์ของ transaction ครับก็จะเก็บ transaction number พิมพ์ลงมาช่องไหนที่มีข้อมูลอยู่มันจะพิมพ์ลงในช่อง comment นะครับโอเคไหมครับใครยังไม่ได้โอเค thanks
Okay, thank you. Thanapuram, I cannot get what you wrote on the conversation.
Sorry.
Okay, Ashira, were you able to complete the task? And Thanapuram, did you complete the task?
I complete
Okay, what is your machine number?
26.
26.
Yes.
Current row transaction number, right. Current row cash in, right. Current row transaction is empty, correct. And here we have current row comment, absolutely right. Okay, were these transaction numbers already filled? The ones that show transaction has been processed? Okay, can you run your code again so that I can check it? Okay, great. Right. Ashira, what is your machine number? I suppose 22, 27. Okay. Okay, you have a for each row and you have a use Excel. Then you come here for each current row transaction number. Okay, and current row comments, right? What is this? And yes, can you run your code once so that I can check it? Okay, great. Okay, very nice. Ruangdate, your machine number? 21. Okay, right cell is okay. Okay, why do you have this read cell value? Which value? Because, tell me. Okay, see, now let me tell you. We do not need this read cell value. Okay, we do not need it because okay, here you have not given the complete equation. What you give here is you go to the condition builder. You have you you filtered the correct way. You go to the correct current row. You select the transaction number. This is right. But you have to check here whether it is empty or not empty. So you choose here is empty. Okay. And then you save it. And then here when you come, you have given incorrect cash in, you have given incorrect transaction number. Okay, let us check your code. Okay, run it. Open the Excel file. Right. Now you get the correct output. Do you get where you were wrong? Okay. Do you have any doubts? Hmm. Okay, yeah, tell me. Okay, here the condition builder, right? Okay, so when we come here in the condition builder, what you have already done, okay, you initially it was is true, okay, how, yes, yes, you did not change the condition to is empty. That is why it was not working fine. So I just changed this condition to is empty and that's it, nothing else. Okay, you get it now? Okay. So now I think everybody are done with their task. Anybody who has not completed, please let me know. I will open your VM and address the issues. Anybody whose code is not done yet? Okay. So I think, okay. So now everybody gets what is iterations and how do we iterate through an Excel, through each Excel row. Uh, any questions from anything that we have covered till now, or anything that you want me to repeat so that you can get a clearer picture? Okay, so okay, okay. Now, okay. Now, the next thing is scenarios. Until now, what we have learned in if is we have just two outputs, either true or false. When we come down to scenarios, we can have multiple conditions, we can have multiple scenarios. For example, maybe I have to give grades. We have to give grades to a student uh, who scores some marks in an exam. So, if the student scores between 80 to 100, we grade him as A grade. If he grades from 65 to 80, we grade him as B. And if he grades from 50 to 65, we do him C. And if it is below 50, we mark him as D or maybe F, because below 50 we consider it as fail. So if we have scenarios like this where we have multiple cases which are driven from a single condition, so I repeat, in if we had one condition with two outputs, true and false, whereas in scenarios, in switch activity, we use a condition, we use that one condition which can give us multiple outputs. Okay, am I clear till here? Okay, so for such activities, for such scenarios, when we have this type of situation, we use an activity called switch. So, with switch activity, if you see here on the diagram, we have one expression and we can have multiple outputs. So, like in if, we just had one true and one false. In switch, when we use one expression and we can have multiple cases for that one particular expression. Okay, okay, so this is about switch. Now we will do a practical session on how we use switch and what type of cases can be resolved by using switch. but it's already almost 12:30 there, so I have to give you a lunch break for an hour. Um, so, okay, guys, let's take the lunch break for an hour, and we'll meet back at 1:30 p.m. Okay, okay. So, see you guys at 1:30, and please be on time so that we can start on time. Okay, thank you, everyone.